Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Home to Inspire DIY and Decor. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for clicking on this video and continuing to support my channel. If you are new, I welcome you and hope that you would consider subscribing to my channel if you enjoy my content. Please leave me a comment and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Let's get on with the project. So for today's video, I am making 7 different types of Christmas trees using some repurposed paper mache Christmas tree from Hobby Lobby, as well as a styrofoam tree from the Dollar Tree. So for this first DIY, I will be using a Dollar Tree fabric in this black and white sort of ticking stripe and creating some oval shapes, just cutting out my initial template and then using that to cut out multiple oval shaped patterns. So what I will be doing is essentially folding them in half, just like so, making sure not to glue the entire thing shut. You'll want to just add a dab of hot glue to the very tip of where the edges meet, and then fold them over so that they are adhered to each other. I will keep doing this until I have enough that I think will cover the entire tree. The next step is to simply glue these folded pieces of fabric down, starting from the bottom, so that you can layer them on top of each other. That way the one on top will sort of conceal the tops of the previous one, if that makes any sense. And lastly, to embellish this tree, I used different strands of pom-pom ribbons, baker's twine, as well as lace, and just cut them into the lengths that I wanted, tied them with a piece of twine, and glued it to the top of the tree, and this tree is complete. I think this tree came out so cute, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Now it's on to the next DIY. So for the next Christmas tree DIY, I am taking a paper mache tree from Hobby Lobby, which I previously decorated, but since I wasn't happy with that outcome, I decided to repurpose it into this next project. I am going to be taking some of this jute twine in this white color. It came from the Hobby Lobby from the wedding aisle. And basically I'm going to be wrapping the tree. Using hot glue, I just kept twisting the twine around the tree until it was fully covered. This is going to be a really simple, very easy and quick to make DIY. It would be a good filler for your Christmas vignette, or for a tier tray since they are super tiny, or just to add as a grouping if you make multiple trees in different styles. But to add a little more embellishment to this tree, rather than it being just a simple jute twine wrapped tree, which is cute on its own, but I wanted to make use of this mini like satin flowers that came from Walmart. I got it on clearance, and it's from their sewing or fabric department at Walmart. And they came in this sort of cream off-white colored satin flowers. And I thought that it made a nice embellishment to this tree. So I just used hot glue and glued them um, randomly throughout the tree, making sure to spread them out evenly as much as I could. And I think it added a really nice touch to these trees. Very unconventional. It's not your typical looking Christmas tree, but I think it came out cute overall. Let me know if you guys like this one. Leave me a thumbs up if you do. And now we're on to project 3 for the next Christmas tree DIY. So now we're on to the third Christmas tree DIY. Again, I am taking one of those paper mache trees from Hobby Lobby, which I am repurposing from my last year's Christmas DIY. I'm also using a mesh type of ribbon that came from Dollar Tree in this light green color. This project is a very easy, simple, and quick one to do as well, because all you're doing is taking that mesh ribbon and you're essentially just twisting and gluing until you have the entire paper mache tree covered in this green ribbon. So just watch as I twist and glue, and you can see exactly what my process is. And at the end, you'll no longer be able to see the design that's on that tree. And ultimately, it did come out very cute and coordinates really well with the last tree DIY. And I didn't do anything further to embellish this. I think on its own, it works. And overall, I just think that it came out really nice and adds texture with that sort of mesh ribbon that I'm using. So if you have any of these types of ribbons on hand, why don't you go ahead and give this a try? It's a super easy project or DIY to make, and you can make them in any other color. I believe this ribbon came in like a white color, a brown color. I think this came out more so during the fall season, so the colors are a little bit more on the fall side. But again, I think it came out really cute, and I hope you guys like this one. And for the next DIY, we are making the fourth Christmas tree using that paper mache tree once again, and some yarn from Dollar Tree in this green color. So my idea for this tree is to create tassels using this yarn. So you'll see that I am wrapping the yarn over 4 of my fingers. And I did this about 15 times if I remember correctly. And once you wrap it, you want to just make sure that your fingers are loose or not like super clenched or anything like that, so that your tassel, will come out a little bit longer. So basically, I just kept wrapping around my fingers about 15 times. And then taking another piece of yarn, you are going to tie the top of that bundle of yarn that you created and just making a double knot to hold it securely in place. And once you have that double knotted, you're going to go ahead and trim the yarn that you used to connect all those pieces together. Then you're going to take your scissors and just sort of cut along the bottom of the yarn bundle so that you're freeing up the edge of the yarn, creating this tassel. And then you're going to go ahead and trim your tassel using your scissors to the length that you want or to the fullness that you want. So I wanted it to be short enough to where I can layer it on this small tree, because ultimately my idea was to make multiple of these tassels and glue them all around this tree to create that fullness. So once again, this is a very repetitive and tedious process. You'll want to make all your tassels all at once just to save you some time. And when you have all your tassels made, you'll then want to move on to the gluing process. So once you have all your pieces of yarn or the tassels glued onto your paper mache cone, you're going to want to make sure that you cover as much of that paper mache as possible, making sure not to leave any blank areas, because the brown is very visible underneath that green yarn if you do not cover enough of the surface. So I did this to the fullness that I wanted my tree to be. And once I glued all of the tassels to this tree, and it created this very full yarn tree look, I wasn't really happy with how it looked just left that way. So somehow I must have not recorded this next step. So I will explain that to get to the final or the finished look, I did do a lot of trimming to the yarn. So once I glued all of the tassels down, you could see that it's very full and the yarn pieces are very long. But the very end result, it was very trimmed down and had more of a carpet look to it. So the yarn was very flush to the paper mache cone, and I really liked how it ultimately came out, because it just looks like a very cute tree. I really love how this green tree came out. It reminds me of a fuzzy carpet, and I hope you guys like this one as well. Let's get on to our 5th DIY. So again, we are taking one of those paper mache cones or trees, and I'm simply going to be using Chenille stems that came from Hobby Lobby in the red and white color. It's like the candy cane stripe colored Chenille stems. And once again, the process is very simple. You're just going to be taking a Chenille stem and wrapping it around the tree using some hot glue. and you're just gonna keep repeating the process. Wherever the last one ends, you'll start with a new chenille stem and start gluing from that point, and so on and so forth. You could literally make this DIY in minutes. It's so easy, but it's super cute, especially if you are decorating with a candy theme or candy canes and gingerbread. It would definitely complement that decor style. You can make this in a bigger version as well if you have one of the larger cones from Dollar Tree. But I was trying to reuse some of these paper mache cones that I've already had on hand. So I think this came out super cute, and once again, you can definitely customize this to your liking. If you don't like the red and white, you could use different colored chenille stems and make them to fit your decor. And that does it for project 5, and we are now moving on to the next DIY, which is the 6th Christmas tree DIY. For this next project, we are taking another one of those paper mache cones and some of these hula skirt that came from Dollar Tree. This tree is more like a boho style. I just came up with this idea because I saw something at Target that sort of sparked my idea for this tree. It looked like their version was made of paper of some sort, and it looked kind of shredded. So I already had this hula skirt in my craft stash, and I just figured why not use this hula skirt and sort of create somewhat of a tassel look by gathering a bunch of the hula skirt. I think I took about 6 strands and twisted the top of the strands and then glued it onto the tree where I had twisted it. So it had somewhat more of a base to glue onto the tree. So hopefully I'm not confusing you with my directions, but basically I'm taking about 6 pieces of the hula skirt, twisting them at the top, and using that area that I twisted the pieces together to glue onto the tree. And I kept repeating this process. And just like with the last DIY, which is the one with the yarn and the tassels, you'll definitely want to create the majority, if not all, of your bundles of this hula skirt so that you can have all the pieces prepared, and then you can just move on to the next step, which is basically gluing them onto the tree. So for some reason or another, I did not get the recording of me completing the tree on video, but you will see that I was able to complete the first row of the tree. So the next few steps is basically the same. It's just repeating the same steps, creating these bunches of tassels, if you will, and then basically gluing them onto the tree in a layered pattern until you get that whole surface covered. And much like the last tree where I did a whole lot of trimming to the yarn to create sort of that fuzzy look, I will essentially be doing the same thing to this raffia tree, except I do leave a little bit more of a longer strands to it. You'll see in the finished look what I'm talking about, but I think this one came out very nice, very cute, fits into any decor. It's that natural looking color. You can use it in a grouping once again, in a tiered tray, or in your Christmas vignette. I just think that it came out better than I expected, and I hope you guys like it too. So for the last DIY, this is the 7th tree of this video. I'm using one of those paper mache tree cones once again, and the fabric from Dollar Tree that I used for the first DIY. It's the black and white stripe. So for this DIY, you're basically taking the fabric and cutting them into strips. And once you have your strips cut to the size that you want, you're going to want to go ahead and twist the corner of the fabric and create a starting point. And once you have that first twist made at the corner of your fabric, you're going to want to glue that down to the top pointy part of your tree. Then you will proceed to twist the fabric towards you as you twist it around the tree. And you'll continue doing this and gluing down in certain spots as needed. It's not necessary to glue every inch of the fabric. You can just twist the fabric towards you and then wrap it around the tree a few times and put some dabs of hot glue here and there. And this tree was very easy and simple. Once again, all the trees in this video is very cost effective, budget friendly, and easy to make. And I hope you enjoyed all the DIYs that I had to share with you today. I'm very pleased with how they all came out. And I hope that you like everything that I did, and leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. And once again, thank you for joining me and for watching my videos. I hope to see you in the next one. Happy holidays and take care. If you enjoyed these DIYs, I have many more Christmas DIY videos that I will link so that you can go ahead and check those out as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.